last time was a little rough.
It hasn't been on since.
Nope.
I'm gonna get us started. All right, welcome everybody back to the Sammy's and Beer podcast, live here on this Taco Tuesday. We brought to you on a special night with special guests. It's going to be a great show for you all. We got some cool stuff to talk about, but first and foremost, the most important thing is our guests with us back by popular demand. We have the human mouth brow, Gabe.
Howdy,
And the world's finest looking gentleman that's
No, that's me.
not transsexual.
That must be me. So
Neil
it's Thomas.
Taylor.
Thanks
And
for
then-
having me. Good to be
And
back.
then Thomas is here with us as well.
Got a lightsaber.
Cool.
Sorry, this podcast was thrown a little together today, but it's fine. We're gonna rock it. We're gonna sock it. I mean,
Yeah, we had to change some things up because of Thomas's work schedule. But it worked out well because Gabe was able to join us and give us his expertise on the subject matter tonight. We are going to be talking about the best fights or battles of all time in fiction, TV shows, anime, whatever you feel are some of the best fights of all time, and then I want to get into why you think they are the best. But everybody knows what we do before we really get into the show. And as Grant learned last time, we take shots for everybody else's stuff. So in honor of that, Grant, would you like to go first? Do you have a shot you want to take for somebody or at somebody?
Yeah, I learned the hard way that you don't wait until the last. So tonight are we doing shots at or shots for first?
Whichever you want to do.
We only do one.
We
Whichever one you want.
We only do one.
Yes.
Okay.
We had to
All right,
switch it up
good.
because
So-
I was getting too drunk during the show.
That's fair. That's fair. So I'm going to do a shot ad because this one is kind of over the last week or so has hit me a few times. So shot ads, coworkers who are passive aggressive towards you, who maybe use humor, but really there's some underlying issues that they don't actually want to bring up. I'm sure everyone has been through something like that in their lifetime. So basically people that have an issue with you choose to pretend like they don't, but it's obvious that it's there. That's what I got.
Go fuck yourselves.
Go fuck yourselves.
Couldn't agree more.
I got one.
Cool.
All right, so I have run into this issue more than I would am like comfortable at this point. This is a shot at.
Is this where you fall for a girl that you think is a girl, but it's actually a dude?
Oh my god!
When that happens.
I am so. I have been so thankful. I've never experienced that, and I am
I've
fearful
been
for
the
my children. Like that one day that they might have to experience that. Like they'll be swiping on Tinder, and it's like, Dad, I met this wonderful girl, but she wants to wait till marriage. I mean, okay, and then just that day happens. That'd be the worst thing ever for them. No. I have run into a lot recently of people who don't like their significant others. Like, and you can tell, they just fight like 99% of the time. They don't like each other. I had an experience where they were married and they just don't like each other. They don't get along at all. They don't have anything in common. They just don't get along. And I'm like, why? Like, why are they, you know what I mean? Like, it's very confusing. It's frustrating to be with them because they're just fighting the whole time. So I hate that. So go fuck yourselves. Be happy.
You know, it is funny that you say that because I've actually got one of my good buddies, and him and his wife love each other, but they fight like cats and dogs, and they are constantly bickering at each other, and I've just come to realize that that's how they just interact with each other. Like, I think they just like fighting, and so they fight with each other as their way of, that's like their love language, is telling each other to go fuck themselves.
But it's so uncomfortable for everyone
It's
else.
Yes.
I mean, like, sometimes it is, yeah.
I don't know. I had a couple I hung out with, and he was specifically very mean to her. Like, would you ever call your wife a slut or a bitch? Ever?
No,
She was being
but
a
my,
bit.
but my mother-in-law has called my father-in-law that, and they love each other very much.
I think that's
so-
different going the other way.
And maybe, yeah.
It's different going the other way, but going down like that, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, not about it.
Well,
And she wasn't being slutty or bitchy.
no.
It was not in a playful tone.
No, it was in a like mean tone. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I
Alright.
had to get that off my chest. It's been bothering me all week.
I could tell.
That's fair. Yeah.
Gabe, you want to go next, or you want me to?
Yeah, I can go next.
All right.
I had one lined up for a shout out to all of the fictional characters that gave young boys an example of how to emote well.
Okay, like, give me an example.
So the example that I'm gonna give, because he's one of my favorite characters of all time, is Aragorn. Specifically, in the Fellowship of the Ring, he emotes so much throughout that, throughout the trilogy in general. But in the first movie, you see him throughout a very healthy amount of positive emotions that I feel like a lot of guys aren't willing to accept. I mean, hell, he cries when his friend dies, and
True.
you know that's
And he's fucking
something I can shout out to.
he's fucking Strider. He's a man's man.
He's a man's man. Yeah.
Fuck, that's a good one.
Yeah. Dang.
Shit.
All right.
See what happens when you go first, Grant?
I'm glad I'm not following it up though. Is the best part.
He worked up to it.
So my shout at is going to go to something that happened to me today, and it usually bothers me after it happens for a weird reason. But I hate it when you're driving this way and they're coming this way, and some dude sticks his head out and fucking screams something at me while I'm just driving down the road. I have no idea what he screamed or why he screamed it. I think he might have been telling me to slow down, but I wasn't even going that fast. But then I spend the rest of my drive, which was like 20 minutes, sitting there going, why the fuck was that guy yelling at me? I was on my side of the lane. Like, what the fuck?
Were your headlights bright?
And no, it's still light out right now. It was light out. My headlights weren't even on. I think it was like a fresh oiled road, and he wanted me to slow down for some reason. But she was driving like a fucking 92 Tahoe, so I don't know what the fuck he was worried about getting damaged. So, don't yell at oncoming cars unless you're going to chase them down and tell them what you really mean. Go fuck yourself.
Or airdrop it like a man.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh. And this was a new whiskey that I got. I got it for my birthday.
Damn. Interesting.
It's made in Montana.
Do love a good bourbon.
Whew.
I'm personally taking a break from all hard liquors.
Well, some of us don't have drinking problems, so we don't have to take
well,
breaks.
it's not a drinking problem, Matt. It's typically a drinking solution. So
I'll drink to that.
Okay, so like Matt said, we did have a pretty interesting idea for today's podcast. I don't want to go first because, and Matt knows what one of mine's going to be. I want to save that for later. So if you guys have something that was impactful, a fight scene, it doesn't have to be kung fu either, right? Like it can be John Wick. No, that's kind of kung fu.
Yeah.
But
Well, if you want, I can go first, and I can give you the fight that I saw that made me think of this topic and why I enjoyed this fight so much. So it was actually an article that I read, and it was the fight between the Hound in Game of Thrones and Brienne of Tarth.
where she beats his ass.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was just, a lot of times you get in fights where it's a good guy versus a bad guy, and it's such an easy, like, who you're rooting for, who you want to win. And I was watching that fight, and they both were in such a good place. I mean, Brienne of Tarth is coming in, she swore an oath to the girl's dead mom, and she's like, hey, I had this oath to her, I'm swearing to you. And she's with this haggard, ugly motherfucker, the Hound, and he's actually like trying to be a good dude. Like he's been a douche for a long time, and his character has evolved so much. And he's like, no, where, he even says it like, where's safe? Is she going to go to the north where her brother got fucking killed? Is she going to go to the Lannisters? And he goes through it all, and he's like, she's safe with me. Go fuck yourself. And it was just like, it was such a great culmination of two people doing the right thing and fighting for it. And it wasn't such a clear, it wasn't a good versus evil fight.
That's yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's thought provoking.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you don't run into too many fights where you really don't know who to like cheer for.
Yeah.
Well, I think that comes to the kind of principle of why each person is fighting. Brienne of Tarth was fighting for an oath to a dead woman, whereas the Hound was logistically thinking about the future and what the next step would be.
Yeah, it's just
after
women.
the fight.
It's women ruining everything again. Fuck.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is do you hold true to that oath, or do you hold true to what is right in the very next step?
Damn it, my fight seems kind of lame in comparison to the thought provokingness of this one. Fuck.
Well, but at the exact same time, the Hound, he wasn't looking at just what was next. He was looking at, like, he was taking care of her. He was...
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't just next. It was, like...
He was her guardian, yeah.
Which was an odd responsibility for him.
But like as far as like the future, I think like with Brienne of Tarth, it's she's just going to save her and then what? Save her and then what's she gonna do? Okay, she fulfilled her oath, but then what is she gonna do?
And then where's her loyalty once she fulfills that oath?
Yeah, exactly. So
Well, but you saw what she did for Sansa after that. She was just saying, hey, I'll be your sworn protector and your bodyguard, and
Well, from the perspective of the Hound, that's the question I would be asking is, once you complete this oath, what are you going to do? I don't know who you are.
Yeah, that's true. This big bitch walks up and
Big bitch with a big sword? No.
And
you're not taking my adopted child.
and he really did. What's really cool about this whole thing is we've all seen the show, right? That's in season 6, 5?
it's way later in the show.
We've had that much character development from all of them, right? We've seen the change in all the characters so much, and it just culminated to that point. And then it culminates later for Arya when she gets the upper hand on Brienne in their spar, because she's a fucking badass assassin. You know what I mean? Like the show just has so much payoff.
In a way, that's a continuation of the Hound and Brienne fight, because it's showing Brienne that she never really needed to be saved from the Hound.
Oh yeah, no, and
Well, and the Hound's character developed even further after that. He fell and almost died, and then went and joined the peaceful people and had like the farm life until people killed him, and then he was kind of like, I'm pretty good at killing people. Maybe I should keep doing that.
He got
All the way up
religious too,
until he
right?
fights them,
He
right?
didn't get religious at all. He just wanted to go kill shit.
Yeah, no, he did. There was the fucking. He did fight the mountain.
He
Yeah,
does fight them.
that's like the very last episode.
Clegane
Well,
Bowl.
no, yeah, that's the culmination of his
Yeah.
character development. Yeah,
Oh shit, you're right.
he's essentially fighting the undead version of himself. He killed what was the Hound and created something new.
Hmm.
Fuck,
Deep.
mine's not gonna be as cool. I want to hear Grant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's gonna be like a minute conversation. Mine does not have that depth to it. Mine is just like I got goosebumps because I wanted to be the manliest man after
I want to
this.
hear it.
All right, mine is a scene from 300
Okay.
where King Leonidas just goes berserk, and I've watched this movie so many times I could probably quote 75% of it. But it's a scene where it changes from like real time to slow mo like 10 different times, and it's him just being smooth, calm, collected, but just a badass and just taking on anything that's thrown at him. The movement
Which scene you're
is
talking
incredible. Yeah, he's got his sword, he's got his shield, and he's just like stiff arming people to the ground with his shield,
It's
taking people out
when
with the sword.
The phalanx breaks apart, right? And they
I think
Yes. Yep. That's
Right,
exactly it.
yeah.
It's the first time that they like break apart from them just all making the wall. And then he's picking up spears and throwing them at people, and the people are getting thrown back like 8 feet just because of the sheer force of his spear.
I was just envisioning that when he throws that spear, and I think it goes through like 2 guys, and they
Yep.
both just shoot back.
Yep. And then it ends with them pushing off a bunch of Persians off the cliff. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
He tells them they look thirsty, and let's give them something.
let's
to
give
drink.
them something to drink.
Later
And
on,
it's
he builds the wall of bodies after that, right?
That's
Mhm.
well before that.
Yeah.
They build the wall of bodies to funnel them into the hot gates before all the fighting starts.
yep.
Come on, know your
I've
300.
seen it twice,
Yeah.
Twice?
if
That's a
that.
shame.
It is a
I
shame.
think right before that scene is the when they say they're fighting in the shade of the like 100,000 arrows.
They push them off the cliff,
And then
and
the arrows
and
come.
then that you hear the horn go off,
Oh,
and then you
right.
see just the sheer amount of arrows coming out at them, and they all go under their shields because earlier they said their arrows will blot out the sun, and they say we'll fight in the shade, and then they start laughing when all the arrows are coming down, and they're like, oh,
Honestly,
fight in the
that's
shade.
a hilarious joke. I fucking love that.
That was
Yeah.
that was a really good joke.
Have you seen
Yeah.
historically how the Spartans responded to political to political letters and stuff? It was very historically it was very much like, well, then we'll fight in the shade. Like a nation would send them an angry letter, and they would send back 1 to 2 word responses of just being fucking witty and a dick.
It's just like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, literally, it's just oh my god, it's amazing. Or like,
No.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
It was like, we'll burn all your crops, do all this stuff. Then they're like, well, we'll just eat fish. Like it's just how the Spartans were. It's like just to give a fuck. It was awesome.
Well, and it really gave credit because I mean, earlier before they had the scene you're talking about, you know, who were they meeting with? It wasn't the Persians. Their friend and neighbors that were coming over to help them, and
The
they're
Greeks.
talking. Was it the Greeks?
The
Yeah.
Athenians, yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're like, you know, what do you do for a living, or what do you do for work? And he's like, I'm a potter, I'm a farmer, this and that. And like, they had a group of dudes, and all their job was to fucking fight. Like, and it showed so much with how just that one scene where he's just ripping people apart. And it was a extremely well done slow mo, like you said, cutting back and forth just to him
Being surgical.
exerting his will onto somebody else.
Yeah, top notch scene, definitely.
Not as deep, but
It was still a good fight. You don't have to be self-conscious about it. It's just a man being a fucking man, too, at the end of the day. Like, he's the peak of what every man wants to be when defending his family, right? You say the same thing
Yep.
about John Wick and, you know, all that, so...
I mean, yeah, like if I were to like put 300 into a philosophical thought, it would be the epitome of what would I do for those that I love. And you take you and 300 of your buddies and you tell the entire Persian Empire to fuck off. Like,
Who was known
Like,
as
I-
the, like, king of the world at that point. Like, do not fuck with this
And-
army.
And if you essentially look at what Sparta was as a landmass, they shouldn't have been able to do that. That's logistically impossible. But they did. Did they eventually lose Sparta? Sure. But they have lived on through centuries and millennia for giving the biggest middle finger.
Hell yeah.
yeah. And then it was also just like a sacrifice, like a knowing sacrifice that they made. They knew that they were martyrs for their country because they didn't have the entire Spartan army. At the end of the movie, it shows them with thousands and thousands of Spartans, and he's telling the story about how the brave 300 laid down their lives, and you saw what 300 did. Now you're going to see what thousands of Spartans do.
Yeah, and they did it, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's because of King Leonidas that every man has a last stand fantasy. So
it could be. We all, like, I don't know if Matt had to deal with
we
this,
all
but
want that.
I know we were all in school, like in high school, thinking, what if a school shooter comes? What am I going to do? And you have, like, that plan. You just fantasize while someone's trying to teach you, like, English or history. You're just, like, fantasizing.
Yeah.
Being that motherfucker. Everyone wants to be
Just
that
go.
motherfucker.
I'll hold them off.
I'll hold the line.
We were too busy being worried about Al Qaeda flying planes into our school.
Oh, shit. I still love that South
One
Park
time.
episode. I love that South Park episode where it's just like, we called Al Qaeda and they came to help, and they started crashing airliners into. I forgot what it was. I don't remember what it was, but damn. Gabe, would you like to go next, or would you like me to go next?
I had one, but now I'm not sure about it because literally, okay, so I have two. The fight in Fellowship of the Ring where Aragorn takes on the Uruk. That I think is very similar as far as philosophically to the 300. It's a very sacrificial. Well, it starts off very sacrificial, right? Aragorn jumps off the balcony thing and lets Frodo run off. He at that point he's facing 50 Uruk-hai, right?
Yeah.
And they say, "Get the fuck out of here!" Just, that's a very sacrificial thing, I think, to stand up for somebody, even though you're not sure of the outcome. Very much in the same way that the 300 did. Very much in the same way that the Hound did. And I think that's kind of a common theme that I'm finding between the three of us. Is it's all a sacrifice. Maybe the 300 knew that they were gonna die, and Aragorn just kind of was like, "This is what I need to do at this very moment," and just kill as many of these motherfuckers as I can. To his benefit, he had very capable companions.
It's the Fellowship.
I know, yeah. But as gay as it sounds, I mean, like, I think that I think it kind of. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see your guys' last week podcast, but I think it's a very good example of male friendship and love between friends.
Between dudes, not even just friends, just love between
dudes.
fucking
Yeah.
dudes.
Yeah, and I think it's I think there's a lot of love in the trilogy that can be shown through masculine eyes, and that's why I love Lord of the Rings so much.
It's good. It even has feminism. It's in it.
It does.
No, no man can kill me. I am no man.
So we've talked about that. But yeah.
Just so we're clear, though, there is only one trilogy, and it's Star Wars.
Lord of the Rings came first.
Doesn't matter.
Kind of does.
Tolkien, I don't know. I can't betray my guy.
Just saying.
I will admit, Star Wars did create a storytelling, like, standard. I think that a lot of things post it really followed the formula, and it worked. So
yeah,
I can't complain. What was your second one? You said you had two.
Yeah. So I've never read the book. Go ahead, Matt.
Let's keep going, and we'll go. I mean, we got plenty of time, so let's go Thomas's, and then
Honorable mentions.
let's talk more.
So all
Like,
right.
I was gonna do like a top 5.
I have a top 5.
Yeah, I did too. So,
Okay.
I'm pulling this shit out of my
So-
ass right now.
What I'm gonna do is, obviously, I'm the big anime fan out of the group, which I'm not actually a big anime fan at all. In general, I like it. I enjoy it. I watch it with my nephews. That's when I watch anime. So I'm gonna bring up anime fights, and I'm gonna describe some of them that you may not have seen. Only one, really, but one big one that just has to be at least mentioned briefly: Goku versus Frieza. We all watched that shit growing up. That was the fucking fight of the century. It took maybe 30 to 35 episodes for it to fucking be from start to finish, but it was a man who saw his best friend, and his best friend from being 5 years old. That's when Goku went to see Master Roshi. He was 5. Krillin is like his fucking person, and he saw him get exploded from the inside. And just the big thing with Goku was he was angry. He beat the shit out of this dude. This dude had lost the fight, and he was like, "Okay, we're good." Like he didn't kill him. He was like, "Nah, you're fine. Like, say you're sorry. Say uncle." And then Frieza was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, whatever." And Goku's like, "All right, cool, I'm about." Like he goes to leave, and Frieza tries to kill him again. And then at that point, Goku's like, "Well, I gave you a second chance, so now you get to die." Frieza obviously didn't die. But for me, as a kid, just that fight in general, I remember being in my underwear, screaming my head off at the TV in my grandparents' house, watching that with my brother, also in his underwear,
well, and it was such an easy fight because it was just that good versus evil, and it's such an easy script, where the good guy goes in and he starts, they fight together right away and they're kind of equals, and then the bad guy does something dirty and gains the upper hand, and then the good guy, has to get in that inner strength and I can do this, and then he fights back and then beats him, and then like you said, shows him that he's the good guy and is like, "Oh, all right, I beat you. You're done. Let's move on."
And I love Goku's character development in general. He's a fighter, but he's not a killer, right? He will if he has to. He's done it, but he just likes fighting, man. He's not trying to be the hero. Like, he's not trying to do all this stuff.
Okay, you're going to stop right there. You cannot tell me that Goku is not trying to be the hero. Most of Dragon Ball shows are all of his friends doing shit, waiting for him until shit gets real bad at the end, and then guess who happens to show up after all my friends have gotten their shit kicked in?
No. He's not
here's
trying to be the
Goku.
hero. He's not trying to be the hero. He literally trains his son to pawn it off to in the Cell Saga. He says it. He fucking trained his kid so that he could be like, "When I'm not here, here's somebody."
Let's be honest. Goku did not train his son. fucking
Well, he did.
Piccolo trained his son.
No,
He
Piccolo.
pawned off the training.
Piccolo raised his son. Goku trained his son in the time chamber. Goku did that. He trained him. He did not raise his son. What so fucking ever?
But Goku, in no way or shape or form, did not want to be the hero.
He didn't want to be the hero.
He is always showing up late.
Well, he is just
All
the
he
hero.
did was show up
He
late.
is the hero. He doesn't want to be the hero, but he just is.
He 100% wants to be the hero.
I don't think so. He just is. He's that guy. He's just doing what he's just a man who's kind of fucking dumb, but just does what he loves.
But he's not the man. He's a monkey.
Well, he is half monkey. No, he's all monkey.
Yeah, he's a straight up monkey.
He is a monkey.
Had a tail.
Alien monkey.
Yeah, alien monkey.
But that was such a pivotal fight for me as a kid. You know, just that was the coolest thing because there was so much build up. And at that time, you know, you couldn't watch it all in one go. So it was like months for me of building it up and making it more awesome. I remember trying to go Super Saiyan in the fucking shower when that came out. Didn't work, but that was
Just
it.
shit in the shower, and that was it. Had to squish it down with your feet.
Waffle stomp, yeah. Happens.
Yeah.
Grant's done a waffle stomp. I know you have, buddy.
I'm not a Marine. No, I haven't.
Well, let's cycle back. Who went first? Matt, did you go first?
I did.
All right.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't have to go in the same order, but I mean, I have another one.
I have one, but it's going to take some explaining. So, I need a minute.
So there's one fight scene that I do really, really want to talk about, but I don't think any of you guys have read Lightbringer, which is the Red Rising series, and there's a fight scene in there that would be my clear second choice. But I'm going to go with my third, which is I'm pretty sure from Dark Age.
Okay.
Grant, you probably have never read the Red Rising series, correct?
That would be correct.
I don't know if you read a lot, but if you ever listen to books, I highly recommend it.
Okay. Okay.
I'll be honest, I didn't listen to books. I didn't read books. I don't really care for that. I prefer to take my media in through television and watch movies and shows. And I've listened to this book twice in like a year.
I think I could listen.
6 of
I
them.
think I could listen to books.
So, but my choice is going to be the fight with Cassius Albolona, and when he is fighting the Raz in the Rim, and essentially what happens is he gets captured, and these people want to kill him because he did some stuff that they didn't like, and so they ask for somebody to step forward to fight him. And the person who he fights first is a pretty good. They fight with what are called razors. They're like futuristic swords.
Better than
And he
lightsabers.
And he fights and ends up killing this guy. And he states, "My name is Cassius Albolona, son of Tiberius, daughter of," I can't remember his mom's name, Morning Knight, and my honor remains. And these people are pissed that he just killed one of their cousins and they wanted him dead. So then they send another one. And another person goes in, and it's essentially like a duel, but with their things are called razors. And they duel. And it was just such a pinnacle for me with watching or reading this fight, with how he didn't want to fight. Like he was at no point, he knew he had trained, he was very well versed, he knew he could kill these people. But they just kept coming at him because that's what their people in charge were telling him to do. And every time he did it, he fought with honor, and he stated it. And he said every time after he beat somebody, after he killed him, he said his name, who his parents were, what his titles were, and then he said, "And my honor remains." And I just absolutely loved how that was written, how he stated who he was and his honor remains after each win. And even at the end, like, he was extremely badly wounded, and he still said it. And it was one of those scenes for me that I was listening to, and I was just like, this was fucking awesome. Like, you talk about that last stand, that 300 moment of like, I know I'm fucked. These people are doing it. And just holding that honor, that pride within yourself of like, I could be cheap. I could do a lot of different things. I could do the coward's way. Nope, my honor remains. And the fact that he said it every time was awesome.
It's a very this is who I am, and regardless of how I die, this is who I will remain.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking
And-
chill, is what it is.
Yeah, it's not to be super cheesy, but I don't know if like you guys are familiar with Princess Bride.
It does remind me of that.
It is-
Yes.
It's very much the
I am Indigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
prepared to die. It is the honor centric version of that.
Yeah. I still don't think that's the best fight in the book series, though, Matt.
Oh, it's not.
Okay.
And you haven't even read the best fight in the book series, to be honest with you.
So that fight
alright.
that you're describing that I don't want to hear about is better than Darrow versus Cassius in the Gala.
100%.
Wait,
Oh.
the Gala and the no, yeah, on Luna, right?
On Luna, yeah.
Okay, I'll let you talk about that.
No,
Yeah,
no, we'll change.
Yeah.
Keep going. But
No, I was just going to say, yeah, the fight you're that I'm referring to is way better than that. All I'm going to say is when you read it, you'll know because they go, confess.
okay.
Which
I'm
give
writing
me-
this down. What is this that I'm supposed to listen to?
Red Rising by Pierce Brown.
Now, who told you to read that, Matt?
You did.
I did.
Give us a hint, Matt. What book is that in?
It's in Lightbringer,
Lightbringer.
Okay.
which is book 6 in the series.
Yeah.
I have 2.5 more hours on the current book that I'm listening to until I can start the trilogy.
I just finished Morningstar, so I'm starting. What's the next one? The 4th book.
Iron Gold,
Iron Gold. Yep, starting that one.
and then Dark Age, and then
Oh my
Lightbringer.
Good books, though. Great fights. A great author. We've talked about Pierce many a times on this podcast. We've talked about Red Rising on this podcast. Probably one of the best books to have ever come out. Turned down several movie deals from big companies because he said they sent him the script and he said it didn't do the book justice. So,
Not good enough. Yeah.
It has to be a show. Like 100%, it has to be a show.
which is what he was saying. So,
Like there's
Unfortunately, though-
so much.
Unfortunately, though, I do think that shows get gypped a little bit because they have to spread the budget throughout a season. I have not been impressed with shows lately, so
But there's a lot of stuff that happens in like even like if you go like to the first book that isn't going to necessarily take a ton of money because there's a lot of emotions and like
it's going to take
Well, I
good
think-
actors is what it's going to take.
yeah.
Well, I think, not to get off topic here, I think that the Red Rising, the first book, and Grant, you'll notice this whenever you start reading it, is I think it's a very, at least the first part of the book, very mental. It's a lot of inside Darrow's head. There's not a whole lot of script. There's not a whole lot of acting to be done. It's just thoughts. What Darrow's experiencing.
That's true.
What,
But there's a lot of it that you can show because I've thought about that
that's
too.
fair.
Like
That's fair.
there's a lot of it that you can show and like scenes. I mean that you could. I mean if you. This is way off topic, but I mean if you really wanted to, which. Spoiler alert, we are going to, in an upcoming podcast, be talking about the actors that we think should be playing characters in Red Rising. I have one that I think will blow all of your minds.
I've got Tactus down to a science, but
I've got Finchner.
oh, and I was thinking about him. Pretty tough. Okay, continue. I feel bad talking about this because Grant's not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Okay, sure.
we can.
Yeah.
We can. Like I said, that was just. There's a lot of fight scenes in there that I absolutely love, and that was just one of them. It was like Grant said, to the 300 and the Aragorn. It's just that I am who I am, and this is what I do. Fuck you, come and get it. So, Grant, what's your number 2?
I would love Grant to go next. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Team America World Police versus the Film Actors Guild. Where they're going up against Baldwin and Samuel L. Jackson and Matt Damon, and it's just Matt Damon going, Matt Damon, over and over again during his fight. I love how, in The Matrix, when they had that revolutionary scene where like the camera spun all the way around her in midair. They have a scene where both of them jump up, and instead of the camera like spinning around, they're hanging from strings and they spin around instead. And it's just comedic gold to me. I mean, the whole movie's hilarious, but that fight scene is just ridiculous. And I find it very entertaining.
Bahamachiналad, Durka Durka. Durka Durka. Durka Durka.
And he's just got like pubic hair like just patching across his face.
It was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and I saw it in theaters.
Well, and if I remember right, like when they picked him up and then they would just go.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to talk about cool parents? My dad took my brothers and I to see that in the theaters.
Oh my.
Yeah, try sitting through puppet sex scenes with your dad sitting next to you.
I promise I will never die.
Try sitting through puppet sex scenes anywhere. Doesn't matter who you're with, it's awkward.
Yeah, but you know what? My dad being my dad, he said, that was a good movie at the end. Like,
I can see that from your dad.
Yeah, that's how he was back in the day. He didn't give a fuck. That is a good, funny fight scene. You're right. I like that. Fucking stupid. But the creators of South Park, like, they just have that humor that...
Yeah, what do you expect?
Fuck. They're not afraid. Gabe, do you have another one? You want me to get weebish?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back to some nerdiness. The Duel of the Fates.
That's
Obi-Wan
a fucking good
and
one.
Darth Maul. Yeah, I think that's an iconic, like, super nerdy, iconic fight scene.
It is in the prequels, so Matt might not like it because.
I enjoy those. No. And Qui-Gon, you're talking the one with Qui-Gon as well, correct? Where Qui-Gon gets.
Yeah, they meet here. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's honestly, I think the acrobats, both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan they're actors, are some of the greatest swordsmen, like, in acting. So I think that just kind of made the choreography just incredibly amazing. As far as, like, what that means canonically, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are the first people to see a Sith in person in, I think, a millennia at that point.
If not longer.
If not longer. That's like us. That's like one of us meeting
a Nazi?
No, not even a Nazi. That's like one of us meeting, like, a fucking... Shit, there's nothing at the moment that would suffice to equate this red and black alien was the embodiment of evil to them, and they were like, yeah, fuck it, let's try and kill this thing. They didn't know anything that they didn't have any idea what Darth Maul was capable of. Darth Maul could have just fucking had what's that thing Darth Sidious had? Like the life absorb thing where he ate planets.
Oh, Darth Sidious didn't have that.
That was the Darth Sidious. That was
It was Darth Plagueis, I think, had the ability to, and then Darth Nihilus for sure did. Darth Nihilus started it.
Yeah.
I actually just got really in depth in the Star Wars lore.
Yeah. So really, they only had classroom experience on how to deal with a Sith Lord, and honestly, they were just like, fuck it, let's cross swords with this bitch and see what happens.
Well, and you're really missing out on probably the best part of that whole thing, is how he kills him, where he's at the end, he doesn't have the high ground, and he flips up and cuts him in half, which is such an homage to Anakin. I have the high ground.
Well, no, that is the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan is actually my number 3. But the Duel of the Fates actually relates to that. You don't really get it from the movies, but Anakin was so obsessed with how Obi-Wan was able to fight Darth Maul that he had studied that fight over and over again. And when Obi-Wan says, "Don't try it," he knows exactly that Anakin is thinking of the move that he pulled on Darth Maul. And so that's why Obi-Wan was actually able to understand and know exactly what the fuck he was about to do.
Dang.
Which we all
never knew
know
that.
Darth Maul didn't die, right?
Yes.
No.
He got spider legs. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But, yes.
Didn't Obi-Wan actually kill him or fight him 3 times?
So he
kills him on Tatooine.
So it was a Legends thing. Now it's canon because of the Obi-Wan show. But yes. And you see, the cool thing about that fight is you see Obi-Wan change from his fighting style with the fingers, right? The aggressive form, to what we know Obi-Wan as, when he's an old man, which is the two-handed, more defensive, more counter fighting style. Which is why he's able to defeat... I mean, he whoops his ass. The last fight is just not even a comparison. Obi-Wan beats the fuck out of him. You know.
Well, you know why he changes to that defensive style?
I don't.
Is because he fought Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah. That would make sense.
Yeah. At that point he had fought Darth Vader twice, but in Episode 3, it was said that Obi-Wan and Anakin were such a similar fighting style that they were the same coin, just different sides. Often that they reflected each other, and in the scene where they're both twirling lightsaber for a half minute, that's because they were both false parrying the same move.
That's really cool.
So it's not just them twirling their lightsaber for 30 seconds. It's them false parrying a false parry. And in sword fighting terms, essentially, they would have crossed swords if one of them were attacking each other. But they were both just faking. So, yeah.
Damn. That's dope as fuck. You guys ready?
So that's my number 3. So, Thomas, go for it.
Well, mine seems super lame in comparison now. But I'm still going to do it because I'm going to go the weeb route for all the weeb fans. Someone's gotta. And Matt probably can't relate to this one at all because he's super fucking old. But Naruto, right? That defined a generation for a while. You had Sasuke, you had Naruto. You had the main character, you had his best friend. Best friend pulls a baddie, runs away, becomes bad guy, right? There's a fight where Naruto, the main character, is like, the fuck, bitch, you ain't going nowhere. And for me, as a very young, impressionable kid, that was an awesome fight because it just showed off all this power and destruction and just this combat prowess, and it was super fucking cool. Great fight. And it gets culminated. So that's at the beginning of the series. It's like in 2005. And it gets culminated at the end of the series in 2018 where they fight again. And it's the same issue. Sasuke's running. Naruto's trying to stop him from running. And it ends. The first fight, the main character loses. The second fight, the main character wins. And it's really fucking cool. And at that point, the main character has the opportunity to kill the guy who has betrayed him. He was his best friend. He betrayed him. He betrayed everything he ever stood for. He did all this stuff. And the main character looks at him and is like, I forgive you. And it's just like the whole story can be boiled down to those two fights. And the whole story is him just trying to get his friend back. He never gave up on his best friend. Throughout the decades that they back and forth, always fighting, whatever. He just never gave up on his best friend. And I just love that fight in general. It's a good fight. There's a lot of combat. There's a lot of, like, the magic system, right? All that cool stuff. All the stuff that was been built up to and leading up to and, you know, hyped up. It's all in there. It's very satisfying as a viewer. But the basis of it is just a dude who knows his best friend isn't actually evil. And he finally breaks through to him. And that's it. That's a great fucking story, in my opinion. It's not about love, like romantic love. It's not about saving the world. It's not about saving the universe or all these high stakes. It's just a dude trying to save his best friend.
Who hurt you?
Nobody. It's just a good story.
What I'm saying is like, your first one was Goku versus Frieza, where they're this super good guy who, like, tries to forgive and then gets attacked, and now it's a guy who his best friend fights him. Like,
I was
obviously
just about to
somebody's
say
hurt
that.
you.
Like, Thomas's theme all night has been about forgiving your enemy.
Well,
yeah.
Forgiving,
All right.
like, forgiveness.
Who do you need to forgive?
Who do you need to forgive?
That's
my
the
guy?
thing. I don't need to forgive anyone. All my best friends are, like, hanging out. But, like, you talk about not actually having a bad guy. Sasuke's not a bad guy.
We're not your best friends.
Yeah, you are.
No, you're supposed to say you don't get to decide
Oh,
that.
you don't get to decide who's my best friend.
I love that line.
It's super fucking awesome. And it goes back to that dichotomy of, like, both sides are right. Whoever wins, I mean...
Grant, how do you feel about the Naruto fights?
Oh gosh.
Since I'm
All right, this is when I check out, guys.
like, since I'm the super old one and I've never watched the show other than what my kids have. I thought we'd get Grant's take on Naruto.
Yeah.
You know, you guys lost me at Dragon Ball Z, honestly. I've seen parts of some of the shows,
That's
but I got the
wild.
premise of it, but I never got into it. I feel like the more I listen to yours and literally the depth of everything that goes into it, I'm like, man, I'm pretty shallow when it comes to what I'm interested in here.
You want John Wick fighting with nunchucks, which is a great fight, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I think I
Yeah,
sent you guys a TikTok of two dudes fighting with nunchucks, didn't I?
Yeah, I got that one.
I haven't checked my TikTok yet today. Did you send it today?
No, it's been a while.
Oh.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, and mine don't get it anymore. Intellectual.
I mean, hey, if we want to talk about badass choreography, there's plenty out
There
there.
are plenty of fights out there that are just being a fucking badass. And beating
Hell yeah.
ass.
That's what gets me torqued, man.
Right, it's every interaction with, like, Master Chief or Neo, they just beat the fuck out of their opponents. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's a very common
Absolutely.
thing. And that's okay. I like watching that shit too. He said the best fights. The fights that made me feel is what I'm going for.
Yeah, I mean that's what this is about. It was the fights that drew emotions from you, and like because obviously there's tons of fight scenes. There's fights in so many shows, so many movies. I mean, there's one movie that's like 3 hours of straight fighting. You know, which is Black Hawk Down. I think it still holds the record for the longest fight scene.
Yeah, I believe so.
There's some pretty cool combat medicine in that too, by the way.
Well, yeah, that's where all of that. That's where a lot of our TCCC actually started.
Yeah.
Not where it's derived from now, but I mean, like that's where it started. I mean, shit. Yeah, if you want to talk about combat, not necessarily fight scenes.
You're allowed to pick. I mean, these are anything like just scenes in books, movies, TV shows that are like top fight or battle scenes that you absolutely love.
There's so many. There's so many great things out there.
So, my next one, you guys might be too young for this. I guarantee you that Grant knows it. Rocky IV.
Who did
The fight between Rocky Balboa and Ivan Drago.
Oh, I think okay, yeah. Where he was like
Okay.
he was gonna die.
I vaguely remember it. Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie starts where he killed his best friend Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And in an exhibition fight, and so then Rocky goes over to Russia and he does his outside training, and like it's one of those movies that just like it serves so many purposes. One, it makes you fucking hate Russians.
I still do to this day.
You know, I mean, there's such a like. I'm pretty sure they're like number 3 bad guy of all time. Obviously, with Nazis being number 1 and Asians being number 2.
Definitely Koreans.
Yeah. Asians.
That's why I said Asians.
Well, I mean,
it includes Korea, Chinese. I mean,
Japan. Yeah.
Japan. Yeah, I mean, we can just the whole continent. Like they make a really good because they can be ninjas.
The Viet Cong, like you know.
Mm.
But then you can go to Russians, and you know it just makes such a good versus. It's back to that good versus evil, and like I love the Rocky how he just gets the shit kicked out of him and just keeps swinging.
That's
And
Rocky's
how Ivan
story.
Drago, it is, and I absolutely fucking like. I could go watch that movie right now. And I would probably get excited when he starts making his comeback after he's just gotten his shit kicked in and just be super excited about watching the fight again, even though I've watched it 50 times.
Now, are you going to get that excited when Jake Paul gets his ass beat by Mike Tyson?
Fuck yeah, I am.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The only thing that worries me is that Mike Tyson needs money and he's going to take it from Jake Paul to throw the fight.
I think he's too prideful for that.
Because let's be honest, although I think what might happen is Mike Tyson is going to lie and say that he's taking the money and that he's going to take the fall. But then he's going to knock the fuck out of Jake Paul and he's going to be pissed.
Turn the deal and say he accidentally KO'd Jake Paul.
I think.
Let's be honest. Like
Mike has money.
At this point, I want an honest question. If all 4 of us were in the same location and Mike Tyson walked up and swung, would all 4 of us, do you think all 4 of us together could take out Mike Tyson? No weapons, no knives, just the 4 of us.
Yeah,
No.
I do.
No.
I've taken out some cracked out motherfuckers that have like opened, like ripped off car doors. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're cracked out motherfuckers, not trained assassins with their hands.
I
Brandon, I want to hear your thoughts.
think I'd be terrified. It would be a coin flip, I think, with 4 of us.
I think we'd be okay if we took him to the ground and punched him in the nuts a lot.
That's the thing. You have to get within striking to like not to be that guy, but like one thing
that guy.
The main thing that I've learned this last year of my first year in jiu-jitsu, first year in grappling ever, is I will get hit so many fucking times if I try this, like anywhere but a grappling gym. And I think if there was somebody to take punches for me, like if I could shove like you, Matt, or Thomas, or you, Grant, in front of me, and then I can take Mike Tyson's back, I might have a 25% chance to bring him to the ground.
I think that's
Maybe.
like, I think that's where I have a hard time visualizing this. It's like, I have to trust all three of you so much to like jump at the same time or,
Mhm.
yeah, distract, whatever.
I think one of us is dying.
I think it could be
If we
me.
win,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think one of us is dying.
I think that's
like
okay.
the person. So what's going to happen is one of us is going to step forward and going to have to take that punch, and that punch is going to kill one of us. He's going to hit somebody so hard in the fucking head, it's going to rupture their eyeball, and they're going to bleed to death, while the other three fight to restrain one leg and two arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some,
And Gabe might end up flying across the room as he's trying to hold down one arm.
If he
Because I'm
did-
pretty sure one of his arms is the same size as you, Gabe.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure we weigh the same as one of his arms. But if
someone's
he-
going to get in the air tonight
body
from
punch on me,
Hangover.
I'm out. I'm on the next continent.
I mean,
If
look,
he gets a body, me, I'm an intercontinental ballistic missile. Like,
look,
there's-
when you think about it, though, we're not going to fight fair, right? I'm going to, like, rip his testicles off.
no, I'm thinking like in the octagon. If we were 4v1,
Oh, in the
One of us
octagon,
is
we're getting fucked up. But if it was a street fight, all I'm saying is one well placed finger in a butthole typically can stagger
listen,
a
he's
man.
already bit man's ear off.
If we all four get naked at the same time.
Just passing lube
That
around.
would be the stat, for sure.
Sorry, we're already-
Are we just making it easier for him to SAS?
To
Maybe.
bite something off. We're making it easier for him to bite one of the things off
Yeah,
of us.
he's got a history of this.
He's done it before. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's not the smartest guy in the world. We just need to get in his head a little bit. Confuse him.
Everyone take Blue Chew beforehand and think of Jennifer Aniston. It just really freak him out.
No, those station rhino pills, man.
Oh yeah, the Black Panther, the Black Mamba.
Yes.
I don't know how we got talking about fighting Mike Tyson. Oh, because of Ivan Draco.
I mean, it's
Ivan
still
Drago.
it's a good.
Have you
segue.
seen the Creed movies?
Oh yeah.
Where it's like
No.
Ivan Draco's son?
Mhm.
Because after that fight, his life just went to shambles and he held a grudge against him the entire time.
What a cool storyline to go with it too.
It actually, I thought it was real. Yeah, it all just made sense. It wasn't them trying to just like carry on the franchise. It made sense, and it was you could feel for him. You could
Yeah.
feel for Draco.
Yeah. And I did love the fatherly aspect of it, how he was like, everybody else left at the end of the fight, and he's just like there for his son. He's like, hey, dude, nobody, and you could tell like nobody was there for him after the fight, and he's like, I'm here for you. We're
Been
good.
there.
We got this.
Yep, we'll go back to what we were doing.
Yep.
Which I don't know if you ever got your ass beat, but post ass whooping, having someone,
Humbling.
yeah, well, it's humbling, but just having someone there to be like, hey, it's okay, happens, is a big difference.
Sure.
Alrighty, boys. I apologize.
Yeah.
Some of us have jobs.
Do we?
I do.
Yes.
I think you're the only one here with an inconsistent job.
Yeah, it sucks. We're working on that.
All right. Well, this has been a fantastic time. Gabe and Grant, I didn't realize until right that second that both of you have G names.
It's the two.
Oh, there we go.
Gs.
We brought the G Squad with us. We appreciate you both so much for taking time out of your evenings to chat with us. Grant, if you do read the Red Rising series and want to jump on with us, I think we're going to try for next week to talk about who we would have play the actors. That's a lot of book to read in the next week, so I don't blame you if you don't have that time because, yeah.
I'll start listening to them. I'll be gone next week, but I'll chime in the chat.
Sounds good. But we appreciate you both so much for stopping by and chatting with us, and we appreciate our one chatter in the Twitch stream who told us to go get more cheap viewers at their website. I don't know what we'd do with it without our paid for viewers. Gabe, any final words for the people today?
Yeah. I think out of all of the fights that we've discussed today, main theme was love. Whether or not it was love for your enemy, love for your friends, family, or just the country that you call home. Fight for what you love.
Good words. Good words. Grant, any final words you'd like to give to the people out there?
No, I just appreciate y'all having me back after the absolute disaster that I was last time.
I'm pretty disappointed with how sober you are. Right
Yeah, I was really hoping for just unhinged drunk Grant.
You never know what you're gonna get.
I was hoping that you'd...
It's typically pretty consistent.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right, Thomas. Anything else?
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you coming on. Let's get you back on again. I think Matt and I will really want to switch up the format to having more guest speakers just because it makes things flow a little easier, a little better, because we think too much alike. So it's nice seeing everybody. Buy Buzzballs. They work.
What are you fucking sponsored by Buzzballs now?
You don't know.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Well, I appreciate you all so much for stopping, listening to the podcast. Gabe and Grant, thank you again so much. I can't say it enough. And ladies, don't forget to give your guys the Hawk Tua. Toodles!